special, so please sign up for something for the kids. Usually it's clothes, that kind of thing that they need.
Right.
And also there's a food option if you prefer to buy food for them instead.
If you'll notice on the clipboards, there's little tags. What you do is you take the tag, you buy that item and wrap it, and then put it on the outside of the box so that they'll know what's inside. Like this is a boy's size 12 jacket. So take the tag with you, buy the item, and then return it. So they'll know what goes to who.
Well, on the tag too, it has a name, a mock name, and use that to when you wrap your present.
Right. Just don't leave it unidentified. They want to know who's
Who it is and what is the intended gift for. So, thanks, Ellen. Thanks, Starbucks. That's always good too. Good Shabbos. Come on in. We're so glad you're here. We also, if you're looking for Hanukkah presents for people, this might be a nice book. We're not selling it, but I'm just sort of giving out recommendations just in case. It's called The Wisdom of Judaism. It's Introduction to the Values of the Talmud. So it's really wonderful by Rabbi Dov Peretz Elkins. We've actually used it in some of our classes, and it's a very user-friendly mechanism to learn a little bit about Talmud. And if anybody has any interest or questions or would like to discuss it, this is a book that is currently on my reading list. It's the Mystical Experiences of Abraham Abulafia. Because I just taught the Kabbalah class, it was a new book that was written by Moshe Idel, who's an absolute fabulous scholar in this area. He's at Hebrew University, also at UCLA, and I've listened to him speak. He's really probably the best academic in the area, bar none these days. So, just thoughts and options with regard to Hanukkah presents. So, page 648.
Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along all the earth a new song unto God. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along all the earth a new song unto God. Sing unto God a new song.
We have Liturgy Yakovina, Dr. Shabbat, who become like Shabbat candles. After that, we're going to do Shalom Aleichem, and you're welcome to come and light the candle. Tom, could you make this work? Oh, that's good. Could Tom make this work? Please, please. Please, please, Hashem. So Shabbat is that lovely piece which calls in the Shabbat angels to come in and bless us and then bids them farewell. So, Yadid Nefesh is on page 128. And this one, we have a little different tune tonight. So the person who wrote Yadid Nefesh, and you can see what it says there on page 128, heart's delight, source of mercy, I draw your servant into your arms. And it speaks about God as a beloved. He also wrote this song, Yobavi. It's a piyut. Who remembers what a piyut is from High Holidays?
Yeah, probably.
Thank you. A piyut is actually a poem, like liturgical poetry, and it's in this particular case, it was written by Rabbi Elazar Azkari. It's a piyut from Sefer Karevi. So you can see what the translation is here, and if you can read the Hebrew, it's kind of a tiny printed font. So this tonight's Torah portion is Vayetze, and it speaks about how Yaakov was going from Beersheba to Haran, and he passed by Mount Moriah. Anybody remember what happened at Mount Moriah? Isaac's finding, exactly this. So when he was, there's Midrash that says, he's also, of course, our dreamer, the one who was dreaming about the angels ascending and descending, which we'll be doing in the Torah portion tonight. This piece, it speaks, in my heart I'll build a space to glorify God's honor. In it I'll place an altar for God's splendor. For the eternal light, I'll take the fire of Isaac's sacrifice. So there's a piece in Midrash that speaks about Yaakov going past Mount Moriah on his way to Beersheba, and knowing that Mount Moriah was such a holy place, That's when he laid down, he put the stone under his head, and he had this great dream, this prophetic dream about the angels ascending and descending, and about how it was the gate of heaven. So. Actually, this little piece is the fire, the clouds of fire, the Mishkan, and it's a depiction of how all of the encampment was around the Mishkan itself. And I have to say that that's probably one of my favorite songs. There's also books that are written that start out Bilbavi, Mishkan Evnen, and they're typically Hasidic books that well, actually, let's go back. It says soul again. But you're right, it is soul. Oh, you're talking about Yedid Nefesh? Oh, all right, okay, so back to page 120, Heart's Delight. So Yedid Nefesh, or beloved of my soul. Good point, it actually says beloved of my soul. Heart's Delight is more of a flowering, poetic kind of way of saying it. But you're right, you just say, soul, beloved of my soul. Okay, page 138. Yeah. Oh,
Shalom, Jerusalem, God Mexico, Zola, Tokendune, Asura, Olika,
I'd like to thank our guitarist and singer, Barbara Reese, who did such a lovely job, and came and practiced extra this week so that we could bring a few musicians to you. So, special thank you. We're on page 144. Together in English. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibilities are sent us all the time. Even in unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without our presence. At the bottom of 149, together in English, this is a hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? We're at the Shabbat, which is our central prayer on page 152. Page 154. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternal in Egypt, that there is a better place than promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. Together,
There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
And on that note, please introduce yourself as they should actually to your neighbor. Okay, right, thank you. Did you want to do one more time for that otherwise? No.
You get retarded as you normally do, so you can.
You know, there is that.
Slow down.
Yeah, there's that. Oh, we had both of them.
As long as we're talking 18 books, will you explain why in the Shema and the last verse on the page?
On the last page, I'm sorry, what?
On the Shema, page 153.
On 153.
Why?
do whisper, right? I mean, in Minhag or customs, thank you, Mike, for the platform. In customs, we say this quietly, right? Because there's several reasons. One is because Moses heard it from behind the curtain, so it's like whispering. And so Minhag in Orthodox and usually conservative shuls is that whispers that instead of shouting that out loud. Please, another one. Another interpretation. Bakasha. Did you see today's like RGJ? It said Talmud, something about it's back here. Tzedakah box. Okay, you read it. All right. So Talmud, respectful discourse amongst rabbis. What a great thing. So at any rate, in that vein.
The interpretation that I learned is that we say with great reverence the Shema, the first verse, loudly, because it's ascending. It's to another world, another level. And we whisper or repeat because it's of this world.
Why do we whisper things of this world? Okay, just curious. It's okay, good. I like it. What a great thing. Thank you. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay, we're at 161 at the top. What?
You drew a line between chaos and the Talmud. I don't think the line was that clear. So how do you know when you're in chaos or Talmud? From the Talmud class.
I think that is certainly something to talk about at our Shabbat dinner afterwards. Good point. Thank you. At the top of 161, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. So we're at 162.
Shamaru Israel et Hashavat Lasor et Hashavat Zedoratam Bezitavam Shamru Bnei Israel et Hashavat Lasor et Hashavat Zedoratam Bezitavam Israel, Bnei Israel, Uladinah, Visharu, Bnei Israel, Et Hashavat, Lasot Et Hashavat, Zedoratam Evitavam. Ki Sheshet Yamim, Asaronai, Et Hashamayim ha'aretz Tishamru B'nei Yisrael Et Hashavat Lasot Et Hashavat Zedoratam Bezitavam Umayam Vashti Shalom Vaynabash Shalom Vaynabash Shalom Vaynabash Shamaru B'nei Israel Et Hashavat Lasot Et Hashavat Zedoratam Bezitavam.
Please rise for us. So in this is our central prayer. You can pray the prayer in your own heart or join with us in Hebrew. Adonai sefatati tahuti evitei latera. Adonai, open the heavens and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, lo elotei
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor HaTorah, El Elyon, Kohen HaTzadik Tovim, Mekonei HaKol, V'zocher Haser Livavot, U'medi Kulam Lifnei L'mon Shemu L'am L'am, L'Hagozer Moshiach U'Magid, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Ezra Sarah.
168.
Atah Gibor Le'ol Adonai, V'chayei B'yatim, Atah Moshiach, Moshiach U'Barit HaKashem, L'chagel Ha'ayim V'Chesed, L'chayei B'yatim V'Rachamim Rabim, Tzorach Noflim V'Rofek Olim, U'Matir Askerim, U'Mekayei Emunato, L'Shenei Ahad, Mikavot L'Achiburot, U'Mitov L'Hava, Melech B'Nit U'Mechayei, U'Matziach Yeshua, L'Emana Talatayot Metim, Baruch Atah Adonai, L'Chagei HaMetim.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע.
Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
175.
V'tzera Elokeinu v'ha'ava Yisrael, v'tefilatav v'lavot tekabel, v'tahir ratzat David, avodat Yisrael avodav, Baruch Atah Adonai, Shofar v'chabayot v'avot.
At 176, we take a moment to say some private words.
Worthy the God you love. Baruch Atah Adonai, Atov Shekar V'Avraham.
So the prayer that's not in your prayer book, but that requests peace, asks for peace.
Shalom Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom Yerushalayim Yerushalayim. Pray for the peace of Israel. Pray for the peace of Israel. Pray for the peace of the whole world. The whole world shall live in peace. Shalom, 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 shalom. Jerusalem, Yimelcha. Shalom, 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 shalom. Jerusalem,
So we move to our Torah service. Page 62. Sarah and please come to the guitar. Please declare Torah. Please rise.
Yerushalayim, Tivne,
Yaakov, Ephraim, Moshe, Babakashah. Or is Ephraim Moshe? Ephraim Moshe, Babakashah. If I could talk about Gabbai to Gabbai.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'asim, ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch atah Adonai, נותן התורה.
All necessary stage whispers. All right, so
ויצא יעקב בבאר שבע וילך הרניו ויקרא במקום ויעלם שם כי באה השמש ויקח מאבני המקום וישם מראשיתיו וישכב במקום ההוא ויאכל לו הנה סולם מוצב ארצה בראשו מקיע השמיימה והנה מלאכי אלוהים עולים ברטיפות והנה אדוני ניצב אליו ויאמר אני אדוני ויאמר אני אדוני אלוהי אברהם אביך ואלוהי יצחק הארץ אשר תשקם עליך לבדד לזרעך והיה זרעך בארץ ופרצת ימה וקדמה וצפונה ונגבה ונברחו בך כל משפחות האדמה ובזרעך הנה אנוכי עמך ושמרתיך במקום אשר תלך והשיבתיך אל האדמה הזאת כי לא תזכר עד אשר אם עשיתי את אשר דיברתי לך ויקץ יעקב משנתו ויאמר אכן יש אדוני במקום הזה ואנוכי לא ידעתי וירא ויאמר מה נורא המקום הזה אין זה כי בית אלוהים וזה שער השמיים. And so go to the next one, בבקשה. And Yaakov left from Beersheba, and he went to Haran, and he encountered the place. Now the place, Hamakom, is actually another name for God. And he spent the night there, because the sun was going down, and he took a stone from the place, and he put it under his head, and he lay down in that place, and he dreamed, and behold, there was a ladder standing on the earth, and its head reached the heavens, and behold, the angels of God were going up and coming down from it. And behold, Adonai was standing upon it, and God said to him, I'm the God of your Abraham your father, and of Yitzhak, also the God of Yitzhak, the land that you're laying upon, I will give it to you and your descendants, and to your descendants they will be as like dust of the earth, and will spread out eastward, westward, and eastward, northward, and southward. And the families of the earth will be blessed by you and your children. And behold, I am with you, and will forward your way in all your journeys, and will return you to this land. For I will not abandon you until I have done as I said to you. And Yaakov woke up from his dream, and he said, wow. This place, and I did not know it. And he awoke, and he was afraid. And he said, how awesome is this place? And it is none other than the house of God, and the gate of heaven.
Especially the wow.
Kalam, Asher Natan Lanu Torah Tenet, Tekayel Amnatan, Tzedekenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Notei HaTorah.
Amen. And may the Holy One bless you and yours in this coming year, that you may find also come home within your heart. And let us say,
Amen.
So I know that there are some people who are in need of healing. Sheridan, Al-Qaeda, Alex, and also Julia, the daughter of Rabbi Murray and Dr. Slade. Bishop Eric is with which this name. Are there more people for healing? There's a request for healing. Greg and John. It's already been answered. Yes.
Both worked out this way.
On Monday, I went for evaluation for the oxygen that I have to take, and I've been taken off. Nighttime oxygen.
So Bishop Eric.
Mishaberak Amotenu Lehor Habrakah Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
And Sharma.
Mishaberak Imotenu Mekor Habrakah Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So, and we also think about happy times where it's out. So, I know that Marilyn, unfortunately, isn't here tonight for her birthday, but her birthday pencil is on its way. Sean Lowe has a birthday that's coming up in a couple of days. Any other birthdays that are this? I guess now's your opportunity for this. We could roll over. If I could have Marty ready, please. On page 374. Please rise. I give him the glory. advisor about what tonight's Script portion is about, right? Sending out newsletter, sensitizing ourselves to holiness. What a great thing. So, Parshat Yitzhak, God is in the place and I didn't know it. That's what he tells us. Yaakov says that. And we have Rashi, Rashi's commentary, our classic kind of commentator, who says, you know, had he known that God was there, he wouldn't have slept, right? He would have stayed awake. Well, can you imagine? Like, if you find out that God is in a place, what would you do? Any ideas? You would go to sleep. If God was there, you would sleep. Okay. You'd feel maybe very secure in that kind of thing. What else? Anybody else? You'd learn, you'd study, you'd have an experience, have discussions. Okay, so we have Lord Chaim who says that Yaakov experienced prophecy, and he would have prepared himself to have a prophecy while he was awake, had he known the place was so holy. Okay. The Baal Shem Tov, and this is a paraphrase from the Baal Shem, from Rashi was 1100s, Lord Chaim, I think 1800s, but don't quote me on that, and Baal Shem Tov, 1700s. Had he known how to recognize God's presence, which was embedded in his life experiences, he would have worked to manifest that, and he would not quote sleep. So that's kind of what the Baal Shem says. You know, whatever it was that he experienced, he would have transmitted it or something out to the people. You know the Baal Shem.
Absolutely correct. I think sleeping is very important part of it, because when you have a dream, you couldn't see the angels.
Well, that's why Lord Chaim said that he would have prepared so he could get that prophecy while he was completely awake instead of having those nighttime visions.
Maybe you had to do sleep.
Well,
When you sleep, you're subconscious, you're open. You're not sitting there looking at rocks.
that's all true. All true. So why is it that it's important for us to recognize when quote God is in a place? Well, first off, who knew? But it is one of our 613 commandments. Knowing God, recognizing God's divinity is a mitzvah. One of the 613. And it leads to a whole heart. Knowledge of God leads one to serve God with one's entire being. So knowing, kind of like that recommendation, yeah, if God was there, I would want to study, I want to learn, have that communication. Serving God with a whole heart. Last month we talked about what that meant to be tamid, to have that sort of open heart that was available, receptive. And how do we get there? Well, there's a question. Open your mind, open your heart, and have a daily practice. Anybody have any recommendations? How do we get to that space where we can see that God is in a place, or notice, or experience? How do we get there? I mean, after all, we've spent 3,000 years working on this, right? We should be getting maybe better at it or closer to it. Because isn't that really what all of us are somehow working on? Or at least Abraham was when he became the first Jew. Recognizing that God was there and thank you, Father, for God's presence. How do we do it? Thoughts, recommendations? Prayer. In peace. So having a heart that is not agitated, sort of like, the Arizal 1500 says, before we pray, we should pray this prayer that says, pray that, well, we really love my neighbors myself. And when we did the prayer class, the art of prayer class, part of that led us to the conclusion that we're to love the people that are dominating with us, the ones who are praying with us. Because if we are enjoying that hevra, that holy community, then maybe our prayers ascend a little higher, a little faster, a little quicker. It's that yearning that brings the divine towards us. So how do we get there sensitized to holiness? Okay, here's some suggestions. Study, prayer, meditate, sing or dance. Find a spiritual chavruta, spiritual partner where you're studying texts. Often within Jewish tradition, that's really the crux of our God experience. We find God through the text. And when you have the ability to study holy texts with friends, what an opportunity, what an awesome opportunity. There's also an entire spiritual director, which is a category of a job that some people actually do, where it's designed for you to come and talk about how are you experiencing God in your life. So for some people, it's kind of easy. Yeah, you know, I talk to people who are like, oh, God has blessed me every day. And for some people, it's like, God? Okay, God is this theory, but I'm not sure that I experience God. So we have a spectrum of experiences about God. Not everybody experiences God in the same way. But for sure, that if we don't practice, or if we don't work towards that goal, if we close ourselves off and say, it doesn't happen, it's not part of my existence, okay, you're not going to find the course. Right? So remember that whatever you do or you think, you get better at doing. So if you look for God in the text, if you are here tonight and you are finding some prayer that's reaching out, speaking to your heart, then that's a little taste of it. But if you're closed off and you say, shh, not for me, not part of who I am or what I am, okay, it's a choice. So just remember, whatever you do, you get good at it. You know, I'm not used to silence after I talk. Usually there's somebody who has some comment. Just sort of like, okay. Okay. And pardon? Yes, we're doing that very soon. We're doing it. So, yeah. We're at page 586. Please rise.
Liebe Shabbat, Lord, Hakol, take to lion, Sereshi, Shabbat, Shabbat, Yidia, Senaret, Ubashani, Karama, Shabbat, Yimal, Ushleina to so, Ushleina to so, the Guru back in the Eden. Never forget you as a matter, Rakato, the Torah.
And now on to 591. At this time in our service, we think about those who have passed on towards our God. Bedside Slate, George Sloan, father of Beth,
Robert Cook, my father, Ewan Cook, my community. He's the really sweet news.
Notice the United States relocated the church is quite tough. Mother-in-law resides. And first Lieutenant April Christoph died December of 2006.
That's all they would say.
We're going to do Ray Juice in just a minute, but we will get there. Okay, let's say shalom.
Say shalom v'bracha. Uya, say shalom aleinu. Say Yavo Yisrael. V'ibru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu, Yavo Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu, Yavo Yisrael. Say shalom, v'bracha. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Say Yavo Yisrael. V'ibru, amen. Oh, say shalom v'bracha. Say shalom aleinu. V'yakov, v'yakov Yisrael. V'ibru, amen.
Okay. Good timing. Yeah, it's always good to have tools. So, if we could, somebody could pass out the grape juice, and if you would like to join me on page 122, that's where we are.
יום השישי, וכולו השמיים בארץ,
וכל צבאות אלוהים יום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברא אלוהים את יום השביעי וקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פורים וגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קדשה ורצה והתנו, זכרו למעשה בראשית, Kibuyon, Tagila, Mikroel Kodesh, Zeher Zikrat, Yitzrayim, Kivaru Lachata, V'tanu Mikdashta, Mikroavim, V'shabbat Kosheka, V'halav Ratzon Hipaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, V'kadesh HaShabbat
L'chaim.
So as is our custom, we're gonna get the tables ready. I know there's some people who are leaving.